This is Jess with Local Music Somewhere, and you're listening to rBeatz Radio. Hey everybody, thanks for coming back to Local Music Somewhere. This is Jess with rBeatz, and today we have Madison Hughes out of Jacksonville, Florida. Madison, I'm so excited to have you on the show today. How's it going?
It's going great. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So tell us just a little bit about yourself. I'm just so excited. So go ahead in your own words. Let us know.
Yeah, my name is Madison Hughes. I'm an artist from Jacksonville, Florida. I was recently on The Voice last year, Team Blake, and now I'm pursuing full on my whole deal in music, which before I never really gave myself a chance. And so now I'm very excited to be over my self-doubt into chasing my dreams. So that's where I'm at now.
That's so great. Yeah. So obviously, I've seen what you've been working on, and you're just, to me, it seems you're just exploding. This is like your moment, and things seem to be just taking off for you. And so I just, had some questions about, how you got started and the show and all that. So I think the first thing we need to say is you have a new single out. We got I Deserve a Drink. It's a Morgan Wallen cover. So could you tell me a little bit about why that's, the choice for this latest cover?
Yeah, well, that song, I knew it was special when I first heard his album. That was the only song I was like, this is a very special song. And I recently was going through this moment in my life where relationally I could really relate to that song. Maybe you're tempted by someone who's not very good for you, but you're like, I deserve a drink. So it's like a metaphor. The song is not really about let me go get some whiskey, but
right.
I tend to have that issue recently where it's like, why do I want this bad boy stereotype? I'm like, what's one face gonna hurt? That type of, I don't know. But
gotcha.
I feel like the audience could really, they can tell that I was also feeling the music, because I'm a very emotional singer, and so every song I cover, it has to be a song that I really relate to and can sing with all of my heart.
Yeah, your voice. I mean, when I first heard your voice, I was just blown away with it's just got this rich, silky, velvet lower situation, and I was just mesmerized. And obviously when you watch the Voice episode of you, like immediately the judges are like, oh, I like it. Ooh,
Yeah.
And it's cool because I also noticed that they mentioned that you're somewhat of a melting pot of styles. So can you tell us like kind of what's the background of your influences and the genre type of journey for you?
Oh man, I grew up listening to the pretty stereotypical mom and dad rock, the Cranberries, Bruce Springsteen, the band, just the good old classic music. And then I got introduced to more of the pop style like Drake and Billie Eilish, and even as far as like Latin and Afro beats, throughout college. And I'm like, wow, there's so much just good music. And I feel like my voice, it sounds good in like surprisingly different genres, which some people may be like they just sound good in country or just sound good when they're rapping. But I was just literally having fun just uploading songs to SoundCloud. I would find YouTube beats and sing over them. And I feel like just music in general, like I have the inkling for, and is definitely I'm a creative brain, not a business brain. So it's interesting how it's all come about, but I definitely have been circling back to my roots, I guess, per se, like more the Americana, I guess is the word people use to describe like this style of alternative country. So that's what I've been leaning into more recently. But like you said, it's mainly like just the character and tone of my voice, not necessarily the genre that I'm singing. So as long as I can maintain that, making my original music going forward, that I feel like is going to be key, like.
Right. Yeah. And your voice is super versatile. And, even on the album that you released in 2022, you have different things from Poison and Billy Joel. It's, you've got it across the board, and you just sound so great with all of it. So no wonder, the judges are like, yes, yes, yes. So you said you had overcome some self-doubt. Like that usually goes hand in hand with a lot of artistic and musical people, you know. So your decision to go on the show, you know, like what was that kind of process for you?
Yeah, it's funny. My mom's two best friends, they're my best friends too, but they're always like, "Oh, why don't you try for one of those, the voice shows or American Idol? Like, why don't you just do it?" And I was like, "Don't you have to be like professional opera singer? I don't know. I'm just not that." Like, but then one day I had an email newsletter come through my inbox. It was like, "Cattle calls for the voice." I was like, "Okay, this is a sign. Let me just do it." So plus I was like, I turned like 25 that year, and for some reason that was a number. I'm like, oh, this is where I really want to believe in myself this year, before my next birthday. And so I, ever since then, ever since the coach's turn, I was very much like felt validated in a way which I never
Yeah.
validated myself before. So
Right. Yeah. I mean, that had to totally change the game in terms of your confidence moving forward, you know?
definitely.
Yeah. And so you play guitar and sing. So you're gigging. I feel like you're gigging a lot now. And I saw that you're going to open in February for Terry Clark. That's very exciting.
Yes,
So,
and it's been interesting with like figuring out how to start playing live, because I really just started after the show, so it's been about a year of me playing at different places here and there. But the Florida Theater one was a big one, because a lot of these places you have to be a signed artist on a record label or work with a booking agent to kind of break through to these bigger venues. But I just emailed them and was like, "Hi, I would love the opportunity just to open for anyone here, a local Jacksonville girl. Thank you for considering." And so they're like, "Well, we'll ask Terry Clark's team. She's coming in February." I'm like, that would be perfect match. So a lot of things you just have to like ask, or else they're not going to come to you. That's what I've learned. Like The Voice, I had to go audition. A lot of things, they just don't come to your doorstep, as even if you're good talent. So it's a great lesson I've had to learn. Got to knock and you'll receive.
yeah. No, you're absolutely right because, part of why we do this show is to educate, local or independent musicians and, people who support local music. And I was going to ask, how you went about getting that. And you're so right. Just asking, sometimes you'll receive more than you really thought you would. And I think that's so great that you're on a bill like that in a place like that. So I'm very happy for you. As far as the music goes, I obviously have listened to, you've got some original singles out. I want to talk to you, about your original writing process. How long have you been writing, your own material?
Like I mentioned before, some of the previous genres, I would work with different, I guess, like hip hop producers who they would make like a beat and they would send it to me and I would have to write over it. And so that process of writing is called top lining, where you are given an instrumental track, basically a karaoke track, and you just kind of write your verses and choruses over it. And normally I'll sit with my computer with my software pulled up with my microphone. I'll just start humming things and see what melody lines come to my mind and what phrases am I repeating. So I come from that background, but when I moved to Nashville, there's a huge co-writing scene and a huge where like lyrics are everything, and just there's like songwriting feels like a much bigger deal and more thought out process than what I was doing. I was doing more just like whatever I feel, and then that's how the song comes about. So it's kind of changed now to doing more co-collaboration. But I'll talk about the recent two singles. The Heartbreak Kid was written by my co-writing partner. He's like, "I wrote this song for you. I think you would sound great." And I was like, "This song is great. Let's do it." And then the song before that was my song, "You Are the Whiskey," and that came from a true experience. I had this chord progression in mind and kept saying, "Was it you or the whiskey I met?" Because that was a true experience I was dealing with at the time. And then that's when I brought in my co-writer, like, "Hey, do any of these lines not flow very well, or what could be improved?" So that's where I like the aspect of teamwork, because you want to work with people who've been doing this longer than you and you want to improve. So that's one way to improve.
Right.
But yeah, they're definitely like in the country vein, I guess. I like to say country adjacent because I don't want to be too
Right.
George Strait, type like super honky tonk style. Um,
Right.
yeah, but it's definitely evolved for me, I would say.
So, okay. So, these singles have come out. Do you maybe have a project on the horizon that's, maybe EP or an album? Like what's in the works?
True, yeah. So I've been working with two different producer teams because they're both my good friends. And so they're kind of two different sounds, which I'm not sure is a downside or a plus side, but
Yeah.
we have like a 5-song EP that I feel like would be best to come out first, and then like a 11-song-ish album, which I'm not sure if that would be something released later down the road because I know you're supposed to spread out things. But
Right.
as far as learning like what's the strategy of releasing and all of that, that's where I'm like, I need to learn more of the business side of music and figure out what is the best route because I actually don't know. I'm just used to putting up singles, and like the cover song album, which is just not original. But it's like, how do you take your music to the next level as an artist now?
Right. Yeah, and I mean, you're using different promotional tools. You're on social media. You've been doing kind of a news circuit. I've seen interviews otherwise. Like, do you feel that that's kind of the primary strategy to like be heard?
Right. I mean, I'd be interested in hearing out what different record labels, if they are wanting to team up, I'll be interested to hear everybody out and then learn because I still don't know much about the music industry, to be honest. I just know about TikTok and you can upload yourself on Spotify, but there's
Right.
definitely other partners you can work with to get you more developed and to just, I don't know,
Right.
not have it be such a slow grind. I don't want it to feel like it's a 10-year process where it's like I gotta do this all on my own because it is
Yeah.
very slow if you do everything by yourself, which
You
I
know,
have
y-
been.
yeah, you're absolutely right. And I think that, sometimes it's hard for people to maybe say, "Hey, I don't know how to do this, and let me reach out to the correct person who can, actually navigate the situation." So it seems like even if you maybe aren't super well versed in the music business, you're obviously well minded for a good trajectory here to be bringing on good teammates. And I mean, it sounds like you're really, you know, curating that team, and I'm very excited, for your whole journey here. Like, I'm just so starstruck.
I've learned recently, like you have to figure out when people use the word team. I was like, what does that mean? And I apparently it means like your manager, booking agent, label, PR, marketing,
Yeah.
like. And then do you have one person that sets it all up for you? I don't know. Do you just like interview everybody and then you yourself figure out who's the right team? That's one thing I'm like, I've never experienced that before where I am in charge of the business side of like
Right.
knowing who works well with you, and should they be someone in the country space? Should they be located in Nashville, or should I take the calls from people in New York or LA? I don't know. So
Right. Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, I think that you got a great head on your shoulders and you're probably going to make some really great decisions with that. There's a thing about, not getting involved with the wrong people too, because unfortunately in the music industry, that can happen where you can go sideways and, maybe lose time or, projects and things like that. But yeah, I mean, I have faith that you're just on the up and up. Like I said, I feel like you're exploding, and you're just so talented, and I'm sure,
That'll
yeah.
be connected. So we got connected through Orlando, right?
Yeah,
Orlando
yes, right. Because I saw Lou Rubino at the show, in downtown, and he was playing with Orlando, and I had seen, you were connected, and I've got to talk to her, bring her on the show. So yeah, but we're so happy you could make it today. Is there anything that you feel like you'd like to tell our listeners, any bits of advice or something maybe that you've learned through this process that you weren't expecting or anything like that?
I would like to be the artist that's not all like, oh, I'm so cool, look at me, what I'm doing. Like I had to come a long way to get to where I could believe in myself. So people listening, like you have something that's like, deep down you should be doing, like I would just encourage you to follow that inkling, because sometimes you won't get a lot of external validation, whether maybe your parents aren't validating you or outside world, you just feel like no one cares. Well, a lot of the world is selfish, so you do have to kind of advocate for yourself, and just if you just know it's deep down there you're supposed to do, like be a painter or whatever, like just at least give yourself enough time to like go for it, I would say, and don't cut yourself too short and like make excuses for why like you're not supposed to do that. So I would just say that.
Absolutely right. Great words of advice. I totally agree. That's great. Well, thank you so much, Madison, for being on this show today.
Absolutely. Thanks, y'all.
We'll link all of your stuff in the description, the socials. It's Madison Hughes, and we'll be looking so forward to the new releases and checking out the shows and everything coming up. So thank you so much again.
Oh, thanks, y'all.
All right. We'll catch you later.
Bye.
Thanks as always for tuning into rBeatz Radio. Search for more local music somewhere on rBeatz.com and follow our social media for highlighted artists as we travel with #LocalMusicSomewhere.